We're here with Tyler Praisner for the Trackside with Saultsports. How are you today, Tyler?
Oh, not too bad. Doing all right yourself?
Good, good. Should we call you Praisner or Double Duty?
It's up to you. We've been busy.
Understandable. Now, I know you're in the garage today. Talk a little bit about that before we get into some questions.
So right now we got the boys in there. We got gear change going on our factory stock. We got our motor trying to get put back together in our late model. We got our hands full. This weather's killing us. It's hot. We're sweaty. We're tired, but we're getting her done.
For the love of the sport, right?
That's right.
First and foremost, how many years you been racing?
I started in 2012, 2013 season there in four-cylinder, and then we took a break for a few years. Life got in the way, and then when the Enduro started back up at Laird, I figured, well, we'll try her out, and that pretty much got me hooked back into it, and there's been no return since. So we've been steady at her now for the last 4 years, and hoping to go another 4 years.
Now, is it? I know your grandfather has been involved in racing for years. Is he involved with you at all?
Yeah, he's been a great help with us this year. He's loving racing. He wants to go racing every weekend, and that's what we've been doing.
So, and it makes it for fun when you can do it with family too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He loves it. We love having him at the track. He's a blast. He has a great time. It's good family fun.
Now, we're talking about when it comes to your biggest supporters. Is he probably one of your biggest?
Absolutely, yeah. Him, my mom, Jody Garson, my grandma, Bev Wurzbicki, at every single race, never missed one. My sponsors and my mechanics, my guys that are with me are diehard drivers. They're staying up till 3, 4 in the morning. We got a lot of support this year, a lot of good help. It's I definitely couldn't do it without them.
And that's something I was going to ask. Again, short track racing, you're not winning millions. It's not a big $1 million budget. But how do you manage racing, work, family life all together?
Well, the family life this summer hasn't been too good. I really haven't been home. I got to give it up to Carly. She hasn't seen much of me. She mostly sees me at the track. I got to give it to Eric's wife too, because he's not home. We're basically in the garage from the time I get off work till anywhere from 11 to 1 o'clock every night. And we go to work tired, and we go to the racetrack happy.
And hopefully you put the car away in one piece. It's even happier, right?
That's the key, yes. Yeah, we've had some struggles this year with some engines and parts and this and that. And parts are hard to find and waiting on stuff. But, yeah, we've been grinding to get there.
And talk a little bit about what tracks you have raced this year in like say Laird and then in the Michigan also.
So we started our season off at Elmira. We ran one race there at the beginning of the season, and then we went to Whittemore Speedway the following weekend. We ran down at Angola in Indiana, and then we ran at Wasso and Kinross, Laird, and we're looking to hopefully get to Anderson and Corrigan Oil this year.
So when it comes to, again, you're working with at least two different cars, numerous tracks. How do your mental state when it comes to two different cars and all these different tracks? How do you deal with that?
We write everything down. Everything gets written down. Everything is documented. From the temperature to the track to the size tires we ran that day, what we did for brake bias, everything gets written down, which is a big help when we go back to these tracks. We got something to look off of. That makes a huge difference. Is writing everything down.
And that's understandable. When we go back, sometimes get to watch NASCAR if it's a rainy day, and they walk the track and write the same things down. So it's not just at your level, right?
Yes, yeah. It helps big time. I think throughout the sport, small, big, writing everything down and having stuff documented that you can go back on, the days you ran good, the days you ran bad. It's good to have.
And what's probably your most memorable moment so far this year?
The last 3 weekends, I would say we haven't. After Laird this following weekend, we had some tranny issues, and we stayed till 5 o'clock in the morning getting the transmission figured out. Then we drove straight to Birch Run. This past Friday, ran Birch Run Friday, and we ran Saturday at Owasso. So I'd say that this past weekend, these 3 nights that we did back to back was probably the most memorable so far.
Now, is that stressful or enjoyable?
It's a fine line. I'm stressed right out, but I guess it's a good stress to have because we're having fun. We're making memories. The team's working great together. But it's definitely stressful.
And talk about say you mentioned it, but talk who's involved with your team.
So I got to give it up to Eric Simon this year. He's been a huge part. Dennis Ullman has given us a ton of time too. I got to give it to his dad, Mike Ullman. Rick Anderson's been helping us out. I probably call that guy 15 times a week asking him questions, and he's been a great help too. And we try and help people as much as we get help. So I mean, we try and help the guys out that we get help from also. But I think those are our main guys for sure.
And what I usually ask a lot of the excuse me, a lot of the drivers is when that yellow comes out and you're turning left until the green's ready. What's going through your head, and does it change when it comes to the different divisions you race also?
Yeah, that sometimes that caution flag is really nice to have, and other times it's really not nice to have. Like last week at Laird, we could have definitely used a caution there, and that heat race that would have helped us out. But this past week in Owasso, there's some of those cautions we got were kind of iffy because we had a good jump on these guys, and they're fast down there, and they were all over us. But yeah, what goes through the mind is just you got to get back in your zone here. You kind of zone into your racing, and when that yellow flag comes out, you're kind of back to reality for a few seconds until you go green again, and you get a couple seconds to think. But it's got its ups and downs, the yellow flag.
And it's something again I've never been. I do want to make it hopefully in 2024. Is everybody talks about Owasso? What's so special about Owasso? You think?
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. Brand new track, 10 acres of concrete pits. Just everything about that track. It's basically like NASCAR, I would say. That's the closest thing to NASCAR that I've ever ran at. They do things well. The payouts are good down there. There's a lot of cars, a lot of good competition. It's just a very nice track, nice place to go to.
And then like I sent you a message today, and you sent it back about again, hopefully doing the super late model race in August here at Laird. And Laird's known for world's fastest 1/3 mile track and almost shaped like a D. How is that different compared to other tracks?
So yeah, the backstretch on Laird there, you're kind of turning the whole time. Where as a Kinross, you kind of get a second to straighten the car out. Same as Owasso, they got long straight stretches. Angola's same deal. But yeah, the D shape there, you kind of you keep turning down the backstretch, which is kind of cool. You got to have a good setup to have your car grip that cornering the whole time. But yeah, it's got its ups.
And I ask when it comes to, again, the biggest thing is a checkered flag. But what's your strategy usually when you get out there for a feature or a heat race, at no matter what track you're at?
Stay out of trouble. Be patient, and just wait for your right time to get around somebody. You're not going to win a race on the first lap. Nobody wants to go home with a wrecked car. Nobody wants to do any more work than they already have to do. So that's what we look at. Be patient, pick your points, and go for it. Stay focused.
And putting you on the spot here, who do you love racing against, and who do you hate racing against?
Well,
and it's not hate because you don't like them. It's just
no,
the way it's raced.
I mean, now being in the factory stocks, the Bevo boys are definitely going to be some fun guys to play with here. So I'm looking forward to do some tangling with them. I love racing with Dale Tucker. We've raced enduros together. We've raced 4-cylinders together, and now factory stock. Me and him have a good time. We bump each other around nice and gently. So I'd say I really enjoy racing with Dale.
Now, is that because he's 0-4 and you're 0-5, or is that?
Yeah, it kind of works out like that too. But I don't know if I really have anybody that I hate racing. I like the competition. I like having someone that's faster than me so that it makes me better. So yeah, I don't think I really have anybody I don't like racing with. I mean, we don't have any dirty guys or anything that are trying to wreck cars. So we got a pretty good thing going.
And like I said, what's your schedule looking like for the rest of the season?
Oh, we're busy. We're going to run Laird this Thursday night, Saturday at Kinross, Laird next Thursday. Then we're going to go down to Owasso next weekend and run with their street stocks. And we're hoping to make it to, like I said, Anderson and Corrigan Oil before the season's over. So yeah, we've got a pretty pretty busy schedule. We've got a lot more races in this year already than I thought we would, which I'm pretty happy about. Like I said, that's all because of the boys. We would never be there if it wasn't for them. But yeah, we're hoping to get at least another 6 or 7 races over before the season, and maybe hoping to make it down to Florida for Speed Weeks.
And that's something where we're a border city. So it's nice that you have not just Michigan, but you have the Midwest and probably 20 to 30 tracks within a 6 to 8 hour drive, right?
Yes, exactly. That's super nice. We may even try and go down Southern Ontario there in October for their Frosttoberfest at Sunset or Peterborough, one of the two there. But yeah, we're kind of just taking it week at a time. I mean, we plan ahead for what we're going to do for the weekend, but we never know what's going to happen to race night. So we plan to run every weekend, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, we've seen that now with the late model, breaking parts, waiting on parts, stuff on back order. So we got our mind set on racing every weekend, but we're just doing what we can as of now.
Now I'm trying to think, Laird, you haven't been able to do double duty the same night yet, have you?
No, unfortunately not. But we're hoping before the season's over that's going to happen.
And how does that change your strategy when you, like, say, jumping one into the other?
So that's going to be a new thing for me this year because I've never done it before. So it's going to be interesting to hop from one car to the other. Definitely a lot more power, different setup in a different car. The handling of the cars are going to be different, but seat time. That's what I always say. And the more seat time we can get, the better, and the easier the transition will be to car. But just playing it by ear now, and we'll see what happens when the double duty comes.
And something I use. I don't think I've heard a lot about your grandfather, but I don't know if I've ever met him. But what's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice he's given you with him being in racing so long?
Races are won in the garage.
So it's like any sport, right? Like you say, it's practice. It's not always the day of the race, right?
That's it. You got to put the time in. You look over that car every time it comes off the track. You make sure every nut and bolt's tight on that. You don't want something small to screw your night up. And that's been his thing, and he said that to me, and that stuck with me. And you win races in the garage.
Now, again, you mentioned family. How does your significant other, like you say, deal with you being so busy?
So she loves racing. She would definitely like if I was home a little bit more, but she understands that it takes a lot of time and effort to be competitive and to run every week. So she's supportive, which is good. You need to have that support behind you. And I got to thank her for that because, yeah, I really haven't been home much this summer at all.
So if you go to Florida, is she going to go with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that'll be our vacation.
Right? Yeah. Understandable. Now, again, being like, say, short track racing, a hobby, I guess if you want to call it that. It is a sport, but we want to call it a hobby. What's your future goals for, like, say, long term, like you say, to keep on racing?
Well, we'd like to get a championship in our factory stock. We'd love to get a championship in the super late model. So I would say getting a championship would be the end goal for this. As many as we could claim would be nice. But like I said, it's all a matter of what happens. Nobody knows what's going to happen on a race night. So that's the end goal.
And the one thing, again, I ask all drivers when I do interviews is what would you give to some advice to somebody getting into short track racing, no matter at what division?
Be ready to spend some money and spend a lot of time if you want to be competitive. That's for sure. And you need help. You can't do this stuff by yourself. You need good help. You need good committed help. And it's a lot. I mean, some people don't realize how much it actually takes to keep a race car tip-top shape for every night, but it's definitely a lot of work. So I would say be prepared.
And coming August 23rd, 24th at Laird is a super late model, and you're hopefully you're going to have your car ready for that.
Yes, we should have the car ready for that, which would be nice to run that $10,000 race.
And what's it going to take? What's it going to take to break Chase Wilson's streak of winning all the features so far?
Oh, he's a fast boy. He's a good driver. I think it's going to take luck. Something lucky. We're going to need some shooting stars that night, I think, to get around Wilson.
And again, learning from his dad and everything else, is like, say, he's taken all the advice to heart, and it's working for him, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
But again, we hopefully I've had committed 3 drivers from Southern Ontario, so coming back again to give you guys a run for your money. So we're up to
Yep.
9. We're up to 9 committed as of this afternoon. So we're on our, and we're still a month out. So it's I think it's going to be a huge event at Laird this year.
I think so. Yeah, the last 2 years it's been pretty good, and yeah, it'd be nice to have some more guys come up from out of town and challenge us here. I think that race is going to take a lot of patience. Don't use the car up in the beginning, and save your car for the end. That's going to be the key, I think.
And softening the blow with family would be nice to take that $10,000 check home too, right?
Oh, would it ever? Put some funds back in the bank.
For next season.
That's right. Yeah, just
Um,
to do it all over again.
Last thing we always ask is, like say, try to remember all your sponsors and let's name them and give them some credit.
I got to thank Tyler Prainser at Classic Signs. He's wrapped our car. He's made all our stickers. I got to give it to Reiko Automotive, Casey Davio. We got High Voltage Welding, Dylan Couturier. Superior Steam, Gene Scarfone. We got Integrity Heavy Repair, Tex Nardi, and King Mountain, Kevin Fisher. And I think that's all of them. If I'm forgetting anybody, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not looking at the car. It's got all my stickers on it, but I think that's our main branch there.
And tomorrow night's Factory 4 for you?
No, tomorrow,
Oh,
Thursday
sorry,
night, I'll be in a
factory stock, sorry.
I'll be in a factory stock Thursday night.
And what
And
are you
then
waiting for when you're super late?
we're waiting on a set of heads and some odds and ends.
And that's something we're doing the show last week, talking to the guys. And when you need parts, it's not like living in Southern Ontario or Southern Michigan where you can have it within 4 to 6 hours, right?
That's the thing, yeah. And we've been willing to travel even to get these parts, but everything just seems to be on back order. And if somebody has them, they're hoarding them, and I understand why.
Exactly. But I go back and it's something I say to the guys all the time, and girls, I shouldn't say that, is racing is if you don't have a part, a lot of times you'll share it. And then when your part comes in, you trade it, right? So it's something that's one thing about racing. It's a big family.
Yeah, absolutely. What goes around comes around. I mean, I've definitely had some help from other drivers, and I've helped other drivers with whatever I can because I like to see everybody else having a good time.
And one thing I asked JP DePaggio last week, a modified driver, is you mentioned Beebles, everybody else, they're all friends in the pits. But as soon as you get onto that first turn, no matter what track you're on, how do you separate the friendship and the competitiveness?
Yeah, the friendship definitely gets turned off when we're on the track, and I mean we keep it clean, but yeah, there's no being, I guess, friendly on the track. If it comes down to me and him in the last corner there, we're gonna push each other. Both of us are to get that win. So and then after the track, we're gonna shake each other's hands and give each other a hug and say good job. We'll see you next week.
And that's exactly when I asked Dan Bebo about Brad. He goes, "I'll still give him a bump even though he's family." So
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
So the biggest thing is the fun, right? No matter what sport it is, the biggest thing is the fun, right?
That's right. Yep.
Well, Tyler, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and hopefully we can do this sometime in the fall again. Talk about your whole season, and we'll see you tomorrow night at Laird.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for having.
We're here with Dylan Conley, the number 86 driver of the Grinch. How are you today, Dylan?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, good. You're about 2.5 years into racing the enduros. Talk a little bit how you got into short track racing.
Well, I used to race motocross, and I love racing. And we were all sitting out here in the pool one day, and we wanted to do something. And it was Thursday night, and they had spectator drags. And my buddy said, "You should put your truck in." I said, "Okay, let's do it." So we drove out there. I put my truck in, and I actually beat some pretty nice cars there. I beat a Camaro, and I beat I think it was a Jetta. And then we went to the finals, and we did a best 2 out of 3. I won the first one. I had the inside lane. He won the second one. He had the inside lane. And then the third one, we flipped a coin. He got the inside, but I I stomped on it coming around turn 4, and I was a little bit sideways, but I didn't let off, and I lost by like a nose hair. It was a great race, and then that racing blood came back, and I said, I'm buying a car. I gotta buy a race car. So the next week, I literally bought the Grinch.
Now, with spectator drags this Thursday, you going to try to bring out the pickup again?
No, I'm not going to do that. My pickup's a little out of commission right now. It's already got enough damage to it. I don't need any more.
Now, this is a question here. You played hockey for the Sioux Thunderbirds over 10 years ago. You also played in the East Coast a little bit, like for junior A hockey.
Yeah.
Describe us the difference between the rush of playing hockey compared to the rush of behind an enduro car.
Well, there's a complete difference for sure. You're hockey, you're on a team. It's a full, you're 5 guys on the ice, and when I'm in the car, it's just me. So it's a completely different rush for sure. The adrenaline is what gets me. And I had my fair share of sticking up for my teammates back in the day.
That was my next question. Is I knew how you played. So how do you keep that aggression under wraps when you're in behind that wheel?
Yeah, those days are long gone now for me.
I can see the gray in the beard, so I can understand.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the grays for sure.
So now describe it. Why enduros compared to any other divisions?
Well, to be honest, the enduro is a great way to get into racing. It's not expensive, like compared to all the other classes. It's very fun for sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Sometimes it's almost like a demolition derby on an oval track, right?
It's almost a free for all out there. Like it's pretty crazy. You don't know what you're coming into every corner. Going into and coming out of a corner, you don't know what's going to happen.
Unless you flip or fire, there's no stoppages, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yep.
So with the Grinch, how and why have you been so successful so far this season?
I think just my experience of racing things, and honestly my experience through hockey, how I could anticipate what's going to happen. So I'm always looking ahead and reading the play, and that's a big factor in the Grinch for sure. So that's how I stay out of the wreckage, because I'm kind of seeing that, this is about to happen. I better go this way instead.
But you're still balls to the wall, though, aren't you?
I'm always balls to the wall, right to the floor all the time.
No matter what sport you're doing, you're always that, right?
Yeah, I'm always doing it to the best of my ability for sure.
Now, talk a little bit about, for people who are getting into racing, the enduros, like you say, price wise, it's one of the most still costly but economical way to race. Talk a little bit about the enduro, and is there much setup enduro compared to even a 4-cylinder?
Well, you're not allowed to have any setup, really. Like, you can't do anything to the car. It's got to be all stock tires, stock suspension, stock everything.
So it's just really a little bit of a roll cage and net, right?
Yeah, pretty much. If you get a car, gut it, put a little roll cage in it for your safety, and get the net and your suit and helmet and everything else, and try it out. Like it's awesome. You can see how many people we have out there now. Like there's quite a few cars. There's probably 20 cars out there.
I think finished last week. I think there was 19 that finished.
Yeah, so
or 19 that were left on the track. How's that?
Yeah. You never know if you're gonna finish or not. That's for sure.
So when it comes to, like, I just talked to Tyler Prainser, and again, he does double duty with, like, say, the factory stock and the super late division. When it comes, excuse me, and like I was just talking to him, he left the garage, all the guys in the garage getting the car ready for tomorrow. Is that one thing about enduros when it comes to family life? It's not really cutting into family life.
No, it's not. It's not like you're in the garage working on it 24/7, unless you do wreck it and you got to do some things. But like the most I've done to my car is new set of tires, put some new brakes on it, and that's pretty much it.
And and again, when it comes again, because most people don't know. Like I was sitting with fans last week, even they were from Southern Ontario, pedal power, and they cover and they don't see enduros too much down there. Can you go anywhere else with your car to race, like you say in Michigan or Southern Ontario?
Yeah, actually, I was looking to go down to Flamborough. They used to have that pot of gold race. That was 300 laps, 50 grand purse. But last year I was gonna go, and then they canceled it because of not enough registration, and they're not having it this year. But they are having the Halloween Enduro, which is 250 laps and 10 grand purse. So I'm pretty sure my sponsors, they're going to help me out, and I'm going to go down there. And there's also a little prize, $500 for the best Halloween theme. And I mean, I already got the Grinch, so I'm going to have a crack at that too.
And when is that, October?
Yeah, October 19th, I believe.
Well, again, I don't know if you were, again, no, if I remember you playing for the Thunderbirds and stuff like that. Now, your personality, are you going to wear the Grinch costume around if you do that race?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely will.
I know you still wear a fire suit, don't you, when it comes to the enduros?
Yes, yeah.
But until you hop behind the wheel, we'll see in that the Grinch, the Grinch costume.
Get it painted or something green, and put a big pillow in here for the gut. And
now, do you need that big pillow in there?
Come on, yeah.
You haven't played hockey in 10 years, so there must be a
right.
little bit.
Yeah, I do have the dad bod going, so.
And that's one thing I talk to people about also is the first year coming out of COVID, they had Donnie put on the enduro and people thought he was nuts. And at the end of race night, you guys race at the end of each race night because again, can be so much stuff on the track. The first year, not a lot of people stayed for the enduro.
No.
Now people are entertained, and usually it's super lates and mods, but people are staying now. They want to see what happens with you guys, right?
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen. It's very exciting. It's definitely an exciting race. Yeah, maybe we're not so fast and everything, but everybody wants to see a little collisions happen, right? So,
and I talked to somebody about 3 weeks ago, and they call it the popcorn division because that's what the cars sound like, right? Because there's not a lot to them.
No.
Where you get the mods and super lates where they're loud, where you guys are just sounds like popcorn going around the track.
Yeah, popping off the rev limiter.
and I asked Tyler this, and again, your division is a little bit different, but who do you like it? Who do you enjoy racing against in your division?
Honestly, I like racing against everyone, and I do miss having Jake Ritchie out there.
Because so are you calling him out?
Oh, I'm definitely calling him out. I call him out every week. I call him on the phone and say, "Get your car out here. Let's go." You know, we had a lot of good battles last year, and he's really busy with his business, and he also works in the plant too. But I give him grief a lot.
And again, we keep on talking. Oh, the other thing I have to ask is, so are you a better enduro driver or power social media, a better axe thrower?
I think a better driver. Yeah.
Power social media. I saw it this morning. Throwing axes, so I had to ask.
Yeah, we went and did that at the Rotary Fest. That was fun for sure.
So, and again, you don't lose your competitive edge, right? That's
no.
The thing, right?
Yeah, I'll always have that.
And again, it's something I always say. When it comes to short track racing, it's not multi-million-dollar racing. It's a hobby, but it's still a sport. Are you always going to stay with enduros, or are you eventually going to want to move up?
No, I want to move up. I've been talking with my sponsors and stuff, and we've been working on getting some more sponsors to help out, and I want to move up to the factory stock. And like a lot of the people out there, a lot of my friends, drivers, and I wanted to go to the mod, but there's a lot to the mod, and it's expensive, and there's a lot of technical tweaking, this, that, right? And they all said, you know what, go in the factory, go do the factory. And I said, yeah. So I've been looking for cars, and actually I told Praysner, I said, hey, if you come across a factory, let me know. And then he goes and buys that factory. I said, hey, what about calling me and telling me about it? He's like, I didn't tell you that I was looking for one too.
And that's the thing. Now we'll let people know that you're looking, and that's the thing with factory stock. You could still run the enduros, really, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because again, it's just part. Again, I shouldn't say the enduros more or less park at the back of the pits, and you can just run over, jump in that, and go out and just.
Yeah, exactly. And there's not a whole lot of maintenance, so you just bring it out, put it on the track, and hope for the best.
Two things. Again, even being an enduro, you still need a little bit of a team to help you. Talk about who helped you out there.
Yeah, so I got Tyler Vernelli for Aurora's West Side.
Another hockey player.
Yeah, a goalie. You know, I don't know goalies, but
they're a little bit different.
Yeah, we've been friends forever, and our kids are actually they go to school together. They're the same age. We hang out lots, and then I got Alex Zalewski, who owns Zalewski Concrete and Construction.
Is he a sponsor?
Yep, he's another sponsor, and we've been friends forever too. We worked together a long time ago when I was in the concrete, and yeah, he's an awesome guy. And then I got Northern Powertrains as a sponsor too. That's Jeff DeCorpo. That's my dad's best friend, and so he helped me out a little bit. And
does he provide you with superior beer too?
No, I'm not a drinker, so. But if I was a drinker, yes.
Yes.
And then I got my pit side crew is Jordan Aruda. He's always there helping me out, you know. And I got my buddies Derek Pelchat and Steve Burt, and my beautiful girlfriend Journey. She's an awesome support too, and she's always wishing me the best and make sure you stay safe out there. And but she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. I was doing the brakes last week, and I said, hey, you want to come get your hands dirty? She's like, I'll definitely help you. And, you know, it's good to see some grease on their hands.
Would she ever jump behind the wheel of a car?
I don't think so. She might be a little bit nervous for that. She does drive a little reckless though out there, so you know it might be good for her.
When you get the factory stock, you might have a driver for the Grinch.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah, there is lots. That's good to see. There is lots of girls in the class and lots of classes actually. So it's awesome to see that for sure.
And like talking about girls, like next week we have Mother Tucker racing on with Dale, Madison, and Kaylee. So there's a lot more, not just men racing. It's a lot more women racing now too, right?
Yeah, and they're good.
And something I'll bring up with them next week. I saw Kaylee. I think she got second or third in the factory fours last week, and saw the arm go across as she went across the finish line. And that's the biggest thing is, if you can put the car back into the hauler almost in one piece, you've had a good week, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much one of the main goals. Keep your car not banged up.
So you almost took out a big bumper last week.
Yeah, was it last week or the week before? On turn 4, there was a bumper, and there was a person on the inside, and I was kind of just going out. I said, "Okay." I'm hitting it, and I ran it right over.
And I go back and say again. We're referring to hockey. Is people want to see hockey? They want to see the fights. When it comes to racing, that's one thing about enduros. They want to see the crashes, right?
Yeah, they definitely, that's why they're there. They want to see the bangs. Yeah.
And Laird this year's had their good share of them
Yeah.
in all
A
divisions.
lot of expensive cars getting a little banged up out there.
Oh, I just got a message just as we about to start from sorry, my mind went blank, from Jordan Sims. Says he might not even have the car ready for the Michael Parsons.
Oh no, like yeah, that was too bad. Two times,
No,
like,
3 weeks,
oh yeah,
3 weeks,
three, yeah. The
three crash.
last one was
Not him, but three involved in three mishaps.
yeah, but
So
you know that's racing, and you're not you're
it's the same
not
as
expecting it, but it does happen.
you go the multi-million-dollar NASCAR and look at, again. I'm not a big Kyle Busch fan, but hasn't had a great season. Crashed almost every week, so it happens at every level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Last thing, who would you like to give a shout out to?
My kids, Brinley and Rory, they love coming to the races. I give a
They
shout
tell,
out to them. And my mom,
sorry. When it comes to kids, mini wedges.
maybe. Maybe the one, my youngest, she likes the four wheelers and sleds and all that stuff, and the other one's more of a princess dancing and all. You never know though.
So if Donnie brings in a mini wedge division, there might be again people are requesting it, so it might be something to look at, right?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be it'd be cool. It's good for the kids, you know.
And it goes back to it gives people look at Burns. 11-year-old sons, like say with a factory stock. So it just we need that younger blood in racing, no matter what, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, oh, sorry, you were talking about your mom. Go ahead. I interrupted. Sorry. Go ahead.
Now, give a shout out to my mom. She lives in Sudbury. She's gonna make it up for one of the races. She said, her and my brother, and give a shout out to my dad too. He's always been there for me through motocross and hockey, and now this racing too. And yeah, he's awesome. And then everybody else, I give a shout out to my big fans out in the stands. I see them all the time,
and that 30, and they're averaging 32 to 4,000 people at Laird. And again, Pedal Power came up from Southern Ontario, and they could not believe the amount of fans we get.
Yeah, it's been packed every time. Like, and we've had some great weather too. So
knock on wood,
help people and enjoy the show. And
and one thing again, going to Laird is something is. If you were to win the championship, is that when you'd go up to the next division?
Yeah, I'm thinking next year for sure. I'm going to be going up, and I have a good head start on the championship right now. So
yep,
we'll see. But you never know. You never know. I'm excited
know.
for the 100 lap enduro. That's always a blast.
No, that I think that, and again, I have to look, and I do the social media. I think they're doing it August 8th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be anyway.
So, how would you compare the Enduro 100 at Laird to, say, going down south and doing a 250 and then the Enduro?
Well, I can't compare because I haven't got to go down there yet, but I mean, 100 versus 250, it's quite a bit, and there's a lot of cars that go in that race too. I think it's 125 cars. Like that's the whole entire track wrapped with cars.
Yeah.
So, and you got to make it 250. So you got to keep your car out of the commotion, which is probably going to be pretty hard with that amount of people. But
so it'll be the Grinch steals Flamborough then.
There you go. I like that one. The Grinch steals Flamborough. The northern boys.
There you go. You'll have to get it, like say Jake and a couple others to go down with you, so we can have a northern.
Yeah, I think Praysner is gonna go too.
So
yeah,
And again, it would be a lot fun to have a few other guys down there, right?
Oh, of course, yeah,
Or I shouldn't say guys or girls, right? So
yeah,
we'll
whatever.
say drivers.
There you go.
So, well, I can't thank you enough, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the track. And good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
We're here with mod driver Chris Miller. How are you today, Chris?
Good, yourself?
Good. First things first, just got finished with Dylan Conley. He, like I say, I knew him from playing hockey, and like I say, I've also known you played hockey. First things first, how do you compare hockey to short track racing?
It's a good question. I know JP kind of answered this one last week too.
I watched all you guys grow up with a hockey stick in your hand, so that's why I ask it.
Yeah, there is really nothing like getting in a car and strapping in and putting your helmet on and getting out there and, putting a plan together, what you got to do, who's around you, who's beside you, in front, who's in the back.
And with hockey, the biggest thing is you just need sharp skates, right? You're not relying on a car, right?
Yeah, there's lots of, don't get me wrong, there's lots that goes into the game of hockey as well, but in a car, there's a lot more, and there's no rush like that, that's for sure.
And the adrenaline's a lot different, like Dylan and JP say, compared to hockey and racing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So got a little bit of a list here. 2007, 2008, 4-cylinder. 2010, factory stock. Then 11, 12, 13, and 24 in the mod. Am I right on that?
Close, yeah. I think there was 2 years with the factory stock.
2009, 2010. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, and that's, to be honest with you, those years there, that's probably the most fun so far I've had in a car, is in that factory stock division. They're great. Not the most expensive ones, but still, those things can take a beating, put them back together, and they're fast next week. Lots of fun in that division.
So why modified compared to factory? You come back after what? I'm trying to do my math here. 11 seasons, and you decide to stick to the mod compared to factory stock. Why is that?
A little bit quicker, and it's like driving a go-kart, to be honest with you. Open wheel, and just that much more of a rush and speed thing, I guess.
And again, it's been 17 years since you first jumped behind the wheel of a car. What inspired you to decide to do short track racing as a hobby or a weekend warrior?
I always enjoyed it. I had a couple good buddies that were racing 4-cylinders back in the day. Tyler Parsons, Cody McLean had a station wagon going around there. So just those two guys there. And like I said, just getting out to the track and always wanting to do it. And purchased my first 4-cylinder off Jason Harrington. I believe it was in the 80s, 1980, some Honda Accord, I want to say it was. So ran that for a year. Then Tyler Parsons had I believe it was a Honda Prelude for sale. Got that off of him, ran that for a year, and then jumped into a factory stock.
And again, when it comes to, like we had talked about off camera about, like say, a few issues that you're getting used to the car and stuff like that. How do you mentally, like you say, when you're working on the car in the pits, then you get out there, and if something's wrong, how do you mentally deal with that?
Back when I first started, I would get a lot more frustrated than I am with it right now. I'm trying to stay patient with it. Obviously,
comes with age, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to not get as frustrated as possible. I know with seat time, the results and stuff will come. New car to me, so got a lot to learn, a lot to get used to. They changed quite a bit from the modified I ran before. They have changed quite a bit over time and different setup packages and all that stuff. So lots to learn. The past couple weeks, I've already learned quite a bit from a long time ago. So just looking forward to the next night and getting more seat time for me.
And it's something, and I asked JP this, and my brother Mark Loxo, 84 races in your division. And as soon as you guys come off from qualifying or your heats, And JP really mentioned this last week is I'm going to make this adjustment. Then you go out there and you're like, and I won't say what you think, but you go, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Is that a little frustrating? Sometimes you tinker with it too much.
I think so. For me right now, we're kind of just throwing one change at it per night. I don't want to go too crazy. Make a change, see how the car reacts, take that info, and move forward. We threw a change at it before the feature last week, helped a bit, but still nowhere near where we need to be, obviously. Got another change in mind that probably going to go throw at it here in the next little while and see how that works for us. Like I said, a lot of trial and error. It's a good put together piece of equipment for me. It's just seat time and getting comfortable again.
And when, again, you're business owner, property masters, and how do you juggle, like, say, owning your own business and then trying to work on this car at the same time and also raising, like, say, a daughter at the same time? How do you do all that every week?
It's busy. There's a lot going on. Fortunate to have my dad kind of run my office for me throughout the day, and then especially on Thursdays when I want to take off at around noon hour 1, he's always there for me. So I'm fortunate that way. But yeah, it does get hectic. May and June, there wasn't much time to breathe. Kind of leveled out now. So like I said, I'm just fortunate to have some people around me helping me out, and we make it work.
And I was talking to Dylan, and he mentioned that one of the two kids might want to jump behind a mini wedge. Would your daughter want to do that?
It's funny you asked that. The last couple nights I've been poking around, maybe looking for one. So
horses have one for sale, don't they?
I think they might. I haven't heard too much.
I saw it on social media this morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out then. But she'd be all over that, I think. Yeah, for sure.
And that's something, like, I talked to Dylan in the driver's interview who do have kids. That's a great way for the kids, first of all, to spend time at the track, but also get more interested in racing, right?
Yeah, it really is. That's great. I wish they had those a long time ago. That's awesome.
You're not that old yet, Chris.
Well, some days I feel it. Yeah.
And after a hard night at the track, even worse, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I ask drivers, because short track, it's not $1 million cars and everything else. Is there a long-term goal when it comes to short track racing?
I'm going to do it for as long as I can. I've always enjoyed running at Laird. I plan to get over to Kinross as much as I can the last couple nights for them. I really would like eventually, possibly next year, won't happen this year, but like to get down and try to qualify for that hot shoe. That's pretty much the biggest mod race in the country. Pretty good pay as well. I think the highest pay. So just to be able to get down there and run with some of those guys, that would be one of my goals, is to get down to some of those tracks down further in the States and have some fun with it.
Now, again, this year you've been testing out, like, say, seat time and everything with the mod. Have you had a season where everything's just clicked and made it special, or a race?
I would just be totally honest with you and say no. Nothing ever goes according to plan. I don't think anybody will tell you that a whole season goes according to their plan. So it's, like I said, for me right now, it's night by night in the garage, week by week at the track, and we'll see what happens.
And the biggest thing, and then Dylan said this a little bit different because it's the Enduros compared to the mods. But if you can put the car away in one piece in the trailer, you probably did something right that night, right?
Like I think I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago in one of the articles, for me right now, like I said, seat time, and if I can take some information away and roll it in the trailer in one piece, I'm happy. I won't hear about it from my dad the next day at work, and we're all happy.
And again, I've got to know, how does your girlfriend deal with the nerves and everything when you're on the track?
She's new to it, totally new to the game. She's enjoying it. Be honest with you, the first night, I think my daughter was, Adriana was the most nervous about it. So, but she'll be back out this week as well, and we'll see how it goes.
biggest thing, what do you enjoy about driving the mod?
Just the adrenaline rush that you get from it. Like I said earlier, once you strap in there, for me, it's like everything else seems to go away. Once you're in the chute there, getting ready to roll out for heats, feature, qualifying, you get in there and it's just you in that car and figuring out a way how you're going to get around that track is the quickest way possible, figuring out your line, hitting your marks, and just all that stuff that goes into it. Just everything about it interests me. That's why I decided to come back.
Now, one thing I ask is, one thing about racing is if you have something wrong with your car, people are willing to help, even parts. If a part breaks at the track and somebody else has another one, you're willing to help. But as soon as you get out on that track, no matter what track it is, how do you separate the friendship and the competitiveness?
Well, in that aspect there, I guess you can kind of refer to it as kind of like playing hockey, right? As soon as the helmets go on, there's really no friends. Same with at the track, right? We're all there. There's quite a bit of money tied up in every division in everyone's car to just do laps and that. It's everyone's there to win. So we're not going to go roll up each other's cars to get a win, but everyone's there to win, and that's what it's all about.
So talk about who helped you out. Like, say, you talked about your dad at work and that. Yeah. Is there a crew at the track that helps you?
Yeah, Wes Greco has been there quite a bit for me, giving me a hand, and then a couple of my other good buddies, Bobby Tolan and Joey Franchella, have been quite a bit of help in the garage throughout the weeks, and they've been at the track as well. And
I was bugging you. Say you showed up the first week with a white car, with nothing on it. Then the next week you showed up with all the sponsors. Talk about who your sponsors are on the 15.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I got to apologize to them. We didn't have time before the first night to get the car deckled.
You got the numbers on by the end of that night. I remember that.
Yeah, I guess we can say that. Just going to go in line here of how they're on the car. Northern Sports Excellence, Kyle Jones, Mark and Dave Rector up at Rector's Machine Works, Will Fleming at MOD Demolition, Vince and Tiz Palumbo at Team Essentials, Alex Zalewski Concrete Construction, Amanda Stocco from the Superior Pro Shop, Barry Bailey, Atlas Auto Parts, Mike Batanti, OK Tire, Bobby Tolan at J&D Trucking, and Eddie Kelly at Kelly's Parkway.
Property Masters on there too?
Property Masters is on there helping out a little bit, yeah.
Gotta say, if you're a business owner, you gotta at least promote your business, right?
Yeah, we can try. Yeah.
And last thing I always ask is, if somebody was looking to jump behind a wheel of no matter what division of a car, what advice would you give them?
If they could pick the brains of a lot of people that have already been into it for quite a few years, like I was able to. And I would recommend, starting with a factory or a 4-cylinder if they're able to. It's quite the jump right into a modified or a super late model. But guys have done it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say it's not possible. Guys have done it. But start there and then, work your way up. Try to get some sponsors as support, but definitely lean on the people that have been around for a long time. So far this year, I've been fortunate, leaning on guys like, picking JP's brain all the time, like Cody McLean, Jeremy Van Hoyk's been huge, Michael Gold, a lot of those guys. I'm texting, phone calls nonstop.
Right, Gold might be out in the next week or two, eh?
He's trying. He's trying his hardest. I think in the next week or two, you're going to see him, possibly even this week. I know he's working hard. Kevin Arrington's also been a good source of information for me. So a lot of those guys I lean on. And I will continue until we start getting results out of this car of mine.
And that's exactly it, right? It's like anything else. You got to crawl before you walk.
That's the motto I'm using right now. I'd like to come out and set fast time and win the feature right away, but wishful thinking for me. So
and that's exactly it. We still got another 4 weeks of at least Laird, and also there's Kinross a few dates. So you probably almost got a half a dozen, if not more, to 8 races that you could race, right?
Yeah, a couple more rides left, and yeah, we'll see if we can progress.
And how do you adjust? We'll use Kinross and Laird as our 2 local tracks. And I asked the drivers this: what's your style? Do you change your style with Laird being a 1/3 D shape compared to Kinross, where it's more of an oval? Do you have to change your
Yeah,
style of racing?
a little bit. Laird's a tricky track with it being that little D shape, right? 1 and 2, you can roll through there pretty good. 3 and 4, it's kind of more of a little bit more braking and a little bit more wheel into it. Kinross is a little bit higher, got some banking, and you can really roll there a little more. Not a huge amount of change, but enough.
And those 2 tracks is something I keep on meaning to ask Donnie Varco or anybody. In a mod, what speeds are you getting at Kinross and Laird? Do you know?
I'd love to know. I'm not too sure. I can't comment on that, Jay. I'd like to know. I can't comment though.
Well, it's something. Now you say it, I might ask Donnie before before you race tomorrow night, and I'll let you know for sure.
And speaking of Donnie, for what he's done for me so far, I gotta really give him a shout out, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be on the track. So a huge thanks to Donnie for giving me the opportunity to get back in.
And this is but if it wasn't for Donnie Varco in racing in Sault Ste. Marie, he's willing to give his shirt off his back to any racer, right?
It really is. And at the end of the day, he's a businessman. We all get it. But it's the little stuff he does behind the scenes, like running across the river, picking up parts for guys to make sure they're ready for Thursday, delivering them on his own time too. So just all that little stuff that a lot of people might not realize. But yeah, at the end of the day, if it wasn't for him, none of us would have that playground down the road for us to go have fun at.
And I talked to a driver the other day, and they're like, what do you say? He is relaxed over the last couple of years. Like when he used to get to the track, he used to be like now he's a little. I talked to him the other night just for a second. He's a little bit more laid back. I think he's designated Rita and other people to deal with the headaches, I guess you say.
Yeah, Rita, and she's got a crew there that really throughout the week up at Lakeway are grinding to make it a go, and they got a good thing going right now, as we know by the crowds, and hopefully we can all keep it going. And it's great to see the fans in the stands the way it is.
And they're averaging. I talked to Pedal Power 51, who was up from Southern Ontario last week, and they covered the tracks as, like you say, recreation, and they do it as a hobby, covering this short track racing in Ontario. And they could not believe 3,500 people in the stands. They said Southern Ontario, unless it's a big race, they don't ever see that down there. And I said, we've been getting that every week. So for drivers, it's huge when you have 3,000 people watching you.
Yeah, it's awesome. And guys like you promoting it. We got Greg in the tower with Ovo. They're doing a great job. And
great pair there, eh?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. Years ago, it used to be Greg and George Pinder, and then Oval stepped in. They're 2 characters for sure.
And that's exactly it. Well, Chris, I can't thank you enough, and hopefully we can do this in the fall after, like you say, you've got the seat time and you're enjoying it. Not that you're not enjoying it, but enjoying it a little more.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Jay.
Well, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow night or Thursday night.
See you at the track. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.